Hi, welcome to the channel. My name is Jill Miller and this is Indie Author Jill, where we spotlight different books written by self-published authors or indie authors. Today we are looking at The Stylite by Shane Hallawa. When this book came in the mail, I actually got it made me think of the 1990s phone books, because this is exactly how big they would have been, and it made me kind of realize just how weird the 90s were, because we'd get these phone books delivered to our houses, and half of the pages would be white and the other half would be yellow, and in the white pages would be all of your neighbors' names and phone numbers. And not just your neighbors, but everybody that was in your city, everybody that was in the other cities surrounding your city. And it's not something that you would think of being a normal thing today, like somebody's phone number was just randomly available to anybody and everybody. And that got me to thinking about the phones that we had, because some of us didn't like the boring phone, regular phone, so we have like the clear phone that you saw all the circuitry inside, and when it rang it would light up, or the shoe phone, which was literally a phone that looked like a shoe, and you just picked it up and there was a dial pad on the sole of the shoe and you talked into the sole of the shoe like a lunatic. It just makes me wonder what is so normal today that in 30 years people are going to say that absolutely did not happen, there's no way. And getting into this story was what's interesting to me about the story itself is it starts with Theresa. Her mother has just passed away. She's an adult. Theresa is a 20-something-year-old adult, and her mother's just passed away. Her aunt and uncle invite her to come and stay with them, and as soon as she gets there, her aunt wastes very little time in spoiling her. And it was nice to have that relationship with her aunt and uncle, and later with her cousin, that she and her cousin have a brother-sister relationship, because that was something else that was very normal in the 90s, and it's nice to see that that's something that hasn't necessarily gone away now, 30 years later, that there are still these families that there's almost a sibling bond between cousins. The aunts and uncles are as close to their nieces. There's so many stories I hear from adults that their relationships were like that. And then I've got some of the youth that I work with, some of them, they don't have that kind of a relationship with their cousins. Even my stepdaughter, her kids, they went to a funeral for my stepdaughter's biological mother, and they met cousins, and my stepdaughter's kids met their cousins for the first time, and they were so excited about it. They came back to their mom and they said, "Mom, these are my cousins. These are my real cousins." And they've started to forge that relationship that they otherwise would have missed out on. And like I said with my stepdaughter, she grew up around her cousins. They had that bond, and now they're realizing that they've moved so far away from each other, from all of their siblings and cousins, that they don't have their own kids now do not have that cousin relationship. and you're getting into stories now where there's a lot of dysfunctional and toxic families, and Theresa just doesn't necessarily have that with her aunt and uncle and cousins. And I love that aspect of it. I also love that Theresa's family's not perfect, because she has her father who has passed away. Her father Peter passed away earlier, and he passed away because he got involved with, as Theresa's mother Juliana says, something that didn't concern him, and got killed for his efforts. He was trying to help somebody and defend somebody, and he ended up getting killed. And Juliana dies much later than her father, and she gets to live longer. Theresa's mother gets to live longer than Theresa's father did, but she didn't really have a life of sustenance. She was very self-involved. If it doesn't concern me, I'm not getting involved. I'm not taking part in it. I'm not involving myself in somebody else's business. It's all about me and what I can get and my power and my money and all this other stuff. And Theresa, from the moment her mom passes away, is haunted by her mother trying to tell her, stay out of things, don't get involved, but Theresa's daddy's girl. And while staying at her aunt, who takes all kinds of joy in doting on Theresa. She's making her pancakes, she's cleaning her room, she's doing the dishes for her, she's taking her shopping. After a while, her aunt and uncle tell her, there's a guy called Father Simon. We want you to go stay with him for a little while, and then you're going to come back. And they drop her off in the desert in Nevada with Father Simon, some guy she's never met, never known. And she asks her uncle, she's like, you're going to come back for me, right? Like, if I want to come home before this is all over, you're just going to come back for me. He's like, yeah, just give me a phone call. You get your cell phone, just call me, I'll come and get you. And she ends up staying until Father Simon sends her back. And Father Simon he lives in a cave, basically in a cave in the desert, in the mountains of the desert or whatever. And she's surprised because she goes in and she's expecting a cave, and she's just expecting, maybe a floor mat. And she gets the floor mat, but he also has a desk with a laptop with the internet connected to it. And he begins training her. He teaches her how to meditate, teaches her how to fight, teaches her how to use a sword, and teaches her martial arts and everything. And then he starts explaining all the trouble that's going on in the world. There's these demons, what does he call them? The Democlaws, and he tells her that they were sealed by a grimoire, but because of the state of mankind being so self-involved, being more like Juliana and less like Theresa's father, it has caused these Democlaws to get out and wreak havoc on the world, and they take on these different shapes. So you've got one that is like just mutilating people. You got another one that is multi-based. He's actually multi-demons, spreading through a crowd of protesters and riling them up. And then you've got one that she claims she's not really doing any wrong. She's just feeding off of people's despondency. And as after her training, she comes back to her aunt and uncle's, and she finds a gift that Father Simon has given her, and it's a pair of earrings, a sword, and a note. And the earrings contain her armor, which is what you see on the cover. And the note tells her that if she chooses to take on the Stylite, then she needs to travel to Alexandrine, and but she needs to travel on foot. And the reason she needs to travel on foot is because if she travels on foot, she meets all these demons and sees the problem that these people are going through. And along the way, she ends up running into her cousin Matt, who is the red Stylite, who has his armor contained in a ring on his finger. And she meets the Saracen, which is an Arabic Stylite that is kind of based off the Muslim influence, that has a Muslim influence, and he's also trying to help them, but he's also trying to deal with the demons in his own way. But the one thing that was kind of jarring for me is that the point of view kept changing. You start with Theresa's point of view, and I would have loved to have just stayed with Theresa's point of view, because, and like, I get why the other point of views exist, because she's not the only one that is going through something. She's not the only one that's trying to heal and grow as a person. But I think it would have been a lot more interesting for us as the reader to see the growth and the others working through their things from her point of view, and for us to kind of get that from her point of view. But there's a lot of obviously it's very heavy in the Christianity, with the Christian faith and whatnot, but it also the thing that stuck out to me is how prevalent this book is for today's political climate. We have she goes in, and on her way there she's meeting people that are dealing with immigration, that there's almost a shootout war over a border breach, and she comes up to these college towns, and the college kids are protesting, and in some cases she gets to people and they know exactly what they're standing for, and other people are like joining a protest, and she's like, well, what's the protest for? And they're like, injustice. And she's like, well, injustice for what? You know, things, stuff. Like, they don't really know what the protest is about, but others are very clear about what the protest is about. And there's a lot that Theresa has to deal with, because she has to put her own, like I said, her mother is haunting her from pretty much the time her mom dies, and she's got to deal with her mom haunting her. Matthew has his own issues that he's got to deal with. And like I said, it jumps point of views, and each point of view you have different people who, and different people and different entities that are dealing with their own things that they have to grow from, or that they have to how do I say it? It's like they have their own healing that they have to do. They have their own self-discovery journey that they have to do, and they have their own growing to do. I don't want to say a whole lot, because I don't want to, give anything away. It was a really good story. I love the design. There's plenty of pictures in here with the different stylites, the pictures of the stylites that are really cool. It's like, what do I say without saying too much, But yeah, I enjoyed the story. I would definitely recommend it. As usual, the links for this book will be down below. So if you like this video, give it a like, follow, subscribe, comment, and also I'm trying something new. Like in previous videos I've had the stacks, and I've decided to not do that for a while and see what the reaction is. So if you would rather the stacks come back, let me know in the comments below. If not, let me know either way in the comments below whether you like this new setup or if you would prefer the stacks. But I figure doing it this way, because we're trying to highlight I want to highlight the book that's on the stand, I figured that the stacks were, like, they were there, but I don't want the attention to be off of the book that we're highlighting. But yeah, one of the good things about the book being the size that it is, I will say this, is if you go to a coffee house or a library and you're just sitting there with it and you have it open, and I take notes on these for the videos, people tend to leave you alone because they think you're studying because it's the size of a textbook. I don't know what the deal is when you go to a coffee house or a library and you're sitting there and you have noise canceling headphones on and you're just reading. Like, what about that situation? You see somebody reading a book with noise canceling headphones on and your first thought is, hey, there's somebody who looks like they want a conversation. No, I want to read my book. Go away and leave me alone. You know? That's like I like to read the books. I like to read the books here at the house because I can do it in privacy and nobody's bothering me. But I like to be out and about in the city, in the coffee houses and everything. I like being around people. And like, just because I want to be around people when I'm reading doesn't necessarily mean I want to be disturbed by said people. So, but yeah, if you have if you want to read this book out in public, absolutely do so, because 9 times out of 10 it looks like a textbook. It even has pictures in it that give it a textbook feel at a glance, and so people tend to leave you alone if they think you're studying as opposed to just enjoying some downtime. So that's all I've got for you today. Definitely go buy the book. Like I said, I enjoyed it. I liked it. And I will see you in the next one.